There was dirt and dust everywhere. The amount of dead bugs built up on the carpet was ridiculous. One day I looked over and I saw a bed bug on her pillow. I'm not gonna lie, I was angry.
They were dirty, dirty panties on the floor. They don't know how to flush the toilet. They had like clouds of weed. You could smell the weed coming through there.
Okay, hang on, the judge is speaking now.
Plaintiffs Vanessa Wallace and Vanessa Long are each suing their former landlord for their security deposits. They never thought renting a house while going to college could land them in court. Defendant Aimee Davis claims the plaintiffs were loud, sloppy tenants who carelessly trashed her family home. She says she owes them nothing.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Najee. How are you?
I'm doing well, Judge.
Good.
This is case number 021 on the docket. Wallace and Long versus Davis.
And welcome to all of you. Let's see what we have here. We have Vanessa Wallace and Vanessa Long.
Yes.
And which one is Vanessa Wallace? Okay. And you are suing the defendant, Aimee Davis. This is interesting. Both of you were tenants in the defendant's property, and you're both suing her separately. First, plaintiff Vanessa Wallace, you're suing for $2,160 for the security deposit and double damages. Plaintiff Vanessa Long is suing for $2,640 for her security deposit and reimbursement of a month's rent. And then again, double damages. That's what the suit is about. And let me just get what's going on. You two are college students?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what are you majoring in?
Health sciences.
Oh, wow. Health sciences. And you?
Accounting.
Accounting. Well, then I can use you up here to figure out. Well, you're an accountant.
That's my job.
Why don't you tell me how this case came about? Go ahead.
Back in May 2019, me and Vanessa had decided to move out of our old apartment and find a new apartment.
Yes.
So I went on Zillow and I had found Aimee's house. It was a great big house, it was around the corner from the school. I had called her that day. We went to the house, we saw the house, we loved the house, and we told her that we wanted the house. Like, she was a nice person. She helped us. She was very lenient with us. And, it was a good process. I'm nervous.
Okay, how many? Well, no, you're doing fine. Now, how many young women?
There were 5 of us all together, including myself,
that
lived in the house, that tried to move in with her.
Okay, and all 5 are on the lease, and
Yes.
Okay, and for how long were you going to move in there?
Around the beginning of May, we found her and we signed the lease and everything. We got the rent in on June, maybe like May something. We got the rent in. Okay. So I had moved out of my apartment by May 31st. So May 31st, I went to Connecticut. I got my stuff from out of my place, and I asked Aimee if it was okay if I just moved everything in, not build up my room, but just move everything in.
Yeah.
So that night of May 31st, I had went to the house, and I moved everything in. She was still living there. Like, the couch was there, the rooms were there, the kids' rooms were there.
So you paid rent in June, but
we didn't start, all of us, we didn't move in until August. But we were paying rent for June, July, August. Yes.
Yeah.
We had moved in, and then the first thing that occurred was the bathroom door. When you would close it and you tried to open it, the top was, the door was, coming apart.
Okay.
That's the video of the bathroom door literally coming apart.
The door was fixed, by the way, within a timely manner.
This was your home?
This was our family
How long
home.
did you live there?
12 years.
12
Raised my
years?
children there.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So they had answered the ad off, jump off. I met them. They seemed nice enough, nice college girls. But from the moment I signed that lease, I instantly regretted it. I mean, these girls acted like they just walked out of their mother's womb. The destructive behavior went on. They had the basketball team partying there every night. They had, every time I'd walk in there and have to fix something, there were like clouds of weed. You could smell the weed coming through there.
In general, you decide to rent your home to college kids. You know they're going to have friends over. You know there's going to be parties and all that. So it's not as if you're renting to someone my age. There's kind of that expectation. But anyway, that's not what the suit is about.
And now, the other thing too is that I had done my due diligence, called their previous landlord. Their previous landlord said don't rent to them.
All right. I haven't heard from you yet.
The day that I moved in, Your Honor, I went with my father. My father came, he helped me move my stuff in. As soon as we walked into the house, we started noticing things. For example, there was dirt and dust everywhere. In the window panes, there was spider webs, dead bugs. As we walked downstairs, the amount of dirt and dust and hair buildup on the carpet was ridiculous, to the point where my father got fed up as soon as he saw it, and he even called Aimee. When he called Aimee that moment in time, he explained to Aimee what he was seeing, the dirt, the dust, how dirty the carpet was, and he asked her, why wasn't this house either cleaned by you or professionally before we all moved in? Her response was, if Vanessa, myself, wanted to go out and get a cleaning crew, I could do that, but it would come out of my pocket.
What about that?
We just put brand new rugs in there about a month ago. And so when she said that, I said, have it, if you want to, have a vacuum it or whatever. It wasn't excessive.
When we got into the house, there was no brand new stuff. Everything
lot of
was
wear and
there
tear.
while her family was living there too.
It was downstairs, it was the playroom before, but like I said, we had professionally cleaned those carpets, and I have pictures of what the house looked like prior to them moving in. What she says, because there's evidence here, is not true.
The day that we moved in, we did like a big clean. When we had put the oven on self-clean, the oven was so dirty that it started to like smoke.
The smoke took over the whole house. The fire alarm went off, and we did let Aimee know as soon as it happened. That was probably 2 or 3 days after we already moved in.
Okay, some of the evidence that on that issue that you submitted here to the court regards those texts talking about the bathroom door and your response to it, and also the stove smoking. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I have the text for Exhibit B where she basically told us a little dirt is going to kill us.
All right, so there's recognition of these particular issues. The only reason they become relevant to the case is you are suing for the return of the security deposit, and the question is for things that had to be fixed up, things that had to be cleaned, where does the responsibility lie? Yeah, go ahead.
Vanessa had gone home for the weekend, and I used her TV to watch TV. And one day I was watching TV, I had my feet up on her bed, I was sitting in a chair, and I took a double take. I looked over and I saw a little bug on her pillow. Later on down the line, we did find out that they were bed bugs, but at the time we did not know, because Vanessa and I have never had bed bugs, we've never seen bed bugs, and we've never dealt with that, so we didn't know it was bed bugs.
And there's a video of me like holding the bugs.
And one day I pulled into the garage, because she did give us access to park the cars in the garage. I parked in the garage one day, and I got out, and as I was walking to the side door to go inside, I noticed a big bottle of Hot Shot, bed bug and flea repellent in the garage. Everything in the garage besides my car was Aimee's.
Never heard anything about the bed
Okay.
bugs for her. She brought those bed bugs in, and I had to pay for an exterminator and get those bed bugs out. And they were only in that room.
If I brought in the previous bed bugs and you spoke to my landlord, it would have been in the room and he would have brought it up to you.
So when she brought her stuff, I hadn't thought anything of it. I had Hot Shot in there because in my garage, because I had fleas like 3 years back. Was not for bed bugs. I've never dealt with bed bugs in my life. And let me tell you, as you can hear them, they squawk about everything. Just the breaking of the screen door. They trashed the garage. I have a picture of them trashing the garage. They were dirty. You know, they just, and you know, dirty panties on the floor. You know, they don't know how to flush the toilet. Like I said, just walked out of their mother's womb. You know, they did not have to wait any length of time to get anything fixed.
Did you submit an itemized
Yes, Your Honor.
to them?
So,
Because the law requires that you submit within 30 days.
right, neither one of them provided me with a written notice of their forwarding address. I had no address. It was only the court summons that I received in March where I found out Vanessa Wallace's address. And I sent her, Your Honor, I sent her a check with the itemized deductions from the security deposit that was received, and via certified mail. She never bothered to pick it up.
Now, what did you want to say?
Your Honor, there's also a joint and severability clause. Out of the 6 months that the tenants have resided there, one of the tenants was late 5 months out of the 6, resulting in late fees that they are all responsible for out of the security deposit
Your
that
Honor.
was paid as a whole.
As tenants, as roommates, we all spoke to each other, and that person that was late agreed that they would take care of the late fee themselves because they were late.
How is the rent paid? Do
It was
you each
$2,400
send
a
a
month.
check,
I
or is it
Apple
one
Pay.
check?
we all sent her our portion separately. We never put it together. We never gave him a solid check. Like I sent 480, Vanessa sent 480. Our rest of our roommates, they sent it whenever they sent it.
As long as I got the 2,400, just
Yeah.
like in the security deposit, it was 3,600. I don't care if 1 pays, I don't care if 5 pays.
Now, Vanessa Long, your suit, what did you want to say?
For my suit, I'm also trying to get my 720 back and my last month's rent. Well, for the
And
720,
what's the argument on the last
the
month's
last
rent?
month's rent, in Exhibit A, December 17th, I let the defendant Aimee know that I am moving out. She basically replied, letting me know what the lease said, which was I either had to find a replacement or I had to continue to pay rent until the lease was up, which would have been May. And it was December, so it was mid-year. It was winter break. So I was going home, but over that break, I did get in contact with one gentleman. He did let me know that he was interested in moving into the place. I had texted Vanessa because she was still going back and forth to Connecticut at the time. I was not. So I had left belongings in the room because I paid rent for it, so I knew it was
Sure.
okay. I left my bed, other belongings, and a vacuum. But I had texted Vanessa, and I was like, hey, if you don't mind, stop by the house. Can you pick up my vacuum? I need it. When Vanessa got there, she FaceTime called me, and she flipped the camera, and my whole room is set up. There's somebody living on my belongings in the room that I paid rent for of January.
She did say that she was leaving for the semester, so I just assumed that she just, left me with the bed, which the other tenant now, she left her stuff there, so it wasn't so far out of the realm. And I needed to make sure, because she said, I am leaving at the end of the semester. I needed to make sure that room was rented.
We have a video
Yeah.
of the guy in her room on January 27th.
You can bring up the video. This is
That's the video of him in the room.
all his stuff on top of mine. That's the young man right there too.
Right, it's not in dispute.
I paid for January.
Okay, well, yes, he had there. I had somebody
But you're not supposed to
moving
accept
in.
money for anybody else if I paid for January.
And her
Who-
name was on
What
the
do you mean not
lease.
supposed to? I didn't hear from you.
But
You
my
didn't-
name was still on the lease
And
because
she
you
paid
texted me.
rent for
on
January.
You
Your
also
Honor.
said, I'm moving out at the end
Your
of the
Honor,
semester.
Exhibit D. She sent
Again.
me a
Okay,
pic.
hang on. The judge is speaking now.
So you were both texting back and forth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Up until the beginning of January, and then I never heard from her.
I understand why you want to make sure you keep having people, but the reality is if she paid for that room for January, that's her room, and you can't be double dipping, renting it to someone else because, well, we don't know where she is now, et cetera. That room became available February 1st, but it was not available for you to rent it to someone else for January. I mean, that
Well,
seems to
Well,
me pretty clear.
The guy didn't move in until the 21st, whatever that Monday was. My husband and I already discussed that we would give her back that rent from the 20th, the 10 days that, he had moved in.
I'm not gonna lie, I was angry because I left stuff there and come to find out that this person is using all my stuff.
Your Honor, I told my wife not to rent to these girls. I had a bad feeling
Okay.
about them. I said not to do it.
I do think that she is entitled to the rent. You hadn't been a landlord before. You now, as you're saying, wouldn't do something like this again. So there's no maliciousness, so there's no double damages here. You don't get to keep part of a security deposit because the place gets to be dirty or there's underwear on the floor or that kind of stuff.
No, I'm going with the-
And the stuff, the major stuff that was fixed is a responsibility of a landlord.
But it also says in the lease that it was negligent.
That may have been the case. I don't think that you should have to pay double damages here. What is fair is these two young women are entitled to their security deposit back. First, let's deal with Vanessa Wallace. Your lawsuit basically is for return of the security deposit, and you also ask for double damages.
Yes.
Okay, and Vanessa Long is entitled to the January rent back. And so I find for the plaintiff, Vanessa Wallace, in the sum of $720, And for Vanessa Long, I find for the sum of $480 and $720, which you know very well is what? $1,200. $1,200, and that's why I need to go to the University of New Haven.
If you have a problem with your landlord, don't be afraid to say something or go to the court and get it done. College students, you know, these landlords be trying to play us. So I would say just don't be afraid to speak out and do what you have to do to get your money.
Next time, I'm gonna listen to my husband next time he tells me not to rent to these tenants.
Definitely observe the house before you move into it. Check for any type of bugs or anything, and just watch out for shady landlords. Thank you, Judge Jerry.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.